Meeting underway here. So, first item of business, other than the call to order, so technically the second order of business is roll call. Commissioner Buttleman,
Here?
Commissioner Gould,
Here.
Commissioner Miller,
Here.
Commissioner Okeson.
Here.
Commissioner Peltzer is not yet here, but perhaps she'll come skidding in late. Commissioner Sin.
Here.
And Commissioner Redmond is me, and I'm here. Okay, next item is approval. Is there anybody that would like to put forth a motion to approve the agenda?
I make a motion to approve the agenda.
Second?
Okay, motion by Commissioner Miller, second by Buttleman. Any conversation about that? Okay, all in favor of the agenda, aye?
Aye.
Aye.
Any nays? Abstentions? Okay, motion passes. We have an agenda. Next item is approval of minutes for the April 15th, 2019 meeting. That was in our packet here. Hopefully everybody's had a chance to review the meeting minutes. Is there anybody that would like to make a motion to approve the meeting minutes for the April 15th commission meeting?
Sure.
Commissioner Okeson came out with a very aggressive sure.
Second.
Okay. Is there any discussion on that? Hearing none, all in favor of approval of the April 15th commission meetings? Aye.
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 Any nays? Any abstentions? Awesome. Minutes are approved. Take this opportunity to note Commissioner Peltzer is in fact here. Thank you. All right. Next item, item number 5, new business. The first item under new business is the Tennis Sanitation Recycling Collection Annual Review. Sean, is there anything that you would like to go over first?
Thank you, Mr. Chair and members of the commission. So annually, we review our trash and recycling programs, and first on the docket here is our recycling program. So I have a short presentation for you to present, and then we have representatives from Tennis Sanitation here to answer any of your questions. So in the contracts, we spell out this annual review that it comes to the Environmental and Natural Resources Commission for your comment and feedback, and then goes to the City Council. And the purpose for the annual review is, number one, to kind of review, the amount of materials collected, how the recycling program has gone over the last year, and then look at how we think we can make some improvements to our program to increase that recycling rate and so forth, and the participation. And we do that with an annual work plan. So I'm going to start by kind of focusing on the current contract with Tennis Sanitation. So Tennis has been the city's recycling contractor for many years, since 2011. Maplewood, it should be noted, has had an organized recycling program for the last 20 years. So we've contracted with one hauler for the last 20 years to collect recycling curbside within the city of Maplewood. So the current contract with Tennis, it started out as a 4-year contract, 2014 to 2017, and the city did extend that for an additional 2 years, and so now that contract will end December 31st of 2019. Again, it does require this annual review where we will look at the recycling report, which was submitted by Tennis, and then tonight we're going to discuss kind of the draft work plan and see what we can come up with for moving forward with 2019 improvements. So I just put together a real brief presentation, and all of this is spelt out in your staff report and in the report that Tennis supplied us with. But the highlights of kind of last year's improvements to our recycling program include multifamily recycling education. So yearly, Tennis, they collect from our multifamily dwellings as well as our single-family dwelling in our recycling program. And, I think over the years, we have found that it's difficult to do recycling education with a multifamily because they're more likely to be kind of transient in nature, not be in place for that long. So we want to do some outreach with them, and one thing I think that has been successful is our multifamily recycling education, where Tennis will actually put together a letter which outlines the amount of material that was collected at that multifamily development over the last year, you know, and showing them the impacts, the positive impacts that recycling has made. So Tennis also supplies the city and these multifamily developments with poster boards and other educational materials for the multifamily dwellings. So that's been a real success. Promotion of small business and church recycling. So a few years back, as part of the work plan, and now it's actually in the contract, is churches and small businesses can actually opt into the city's recycling program. So as long as they can be collected curbside or with a cart, they can opt into the program. And that's really helped some of these small businesses and churches save money because they're paying that exact same rate that the residential customers are paying, the $3.54 per month to the city of Maplewood for that recycling program. So right now, just over the last year, it's increased. I think at the beginning of the year it was about 13. Now we're up to 27 churches and small businesses. So we want to kind of keep that program going because it has been a success. Collections of linens and shoes, so that's something that's in the contract. And right now, Tennis works with Simple Recycling for that program. So you can get these orange bags to place out, or you can place the materials just in a regular white plastic bag marked linens, place that on top of your recycling cart, and those items will be reused and recycled. So that's been a positive program as well. And then yearly, Tennis does a recycling composite study, and it's usually done in October of the year. And you can see in your report from Tennis that the main items collected in Maplewood, cardboard and paper are always kind of the highest volume of materials collected here. So that really gives you a good snapshot of our recycling program by just looking at that composite study. So those are things that we worked on last year to make improvements to our program. And from that, Tennis outlines the data. And here's kind of a snapshot, a comparison of 2017 to 2018. And you'll see some improvements there. Now, these increases in recycling materials, it can mean a lot. It can mean that people are recycling more. It can mean that the economy is better. And I'm hoping that maybe Tennis might have some insights into why we're seeing that increase as well. But I think one of the things, of course, that we just outlined is our education and outreach really does have a positive impact. Making recycling simple, the single sort, having the size carts that individuals need. They offer 32, 65, or 95-gallon carts, or even having a second cart at no cost. So these things add up and make recycling easier for people. So you can see from 2017 to 2018, we did see an increase in the average pounds of recycling collected per month at single family as well as our multifamily, from 53.99 pounds in 2017 to 54.01 pounds in 2018 for our single family, and then 12.15 pounds to 12.95 pounds in the multifamily. And that adds up to an annual net tons of recycling collected now for 2018 of 2,979.18 tons of recyclables from all of the single-family, 312.59 tons from all the multifamily, and 32.44 tons from our business and church opt-ins. So again, all that's outlined in that very detailed report that Tennis prepares for the city of Maplewood. So I did draft a work plan, and I would like to note that we're going to kind of have this will be like a working session, because we haven't had an opportunity to really vet this with Tennis until tonight. So As you know, Chris Swanson for a couple years was handling our solid waste program, and he has now moved on to another position with another city. So it's been a bit of a whirlwind trying to get caught up. So tonight, we're going to make you do all the work and finalize this work plan. But I think we'll get some good insights from Tennis to see if this is all feasible. But just to explain, so this recycling dumpster pilot project, in our new contract beginning 2020, we would like to, well, we will be, I should say, offering dumpster collection with our recycling program. Right now, with the multifamily developments, they are all collected by carts, and it can be somewhat challenging in some of our larger developments, like 100 households, and they probably have about 20 carts that they have to roll out and be collected weekly. So that can cause some challenges. So we'd like to offer an opportunity for those developments to have a dumpster. So we'd like to talk about the feasibility of doing maybe a recycling dumpster pilot project in 2019. And we do have one particular apartment complex that just opened up that it might be a real good opportunity there. So we can discuss that. Multifamily properties without city recycling service. So in the city of Maplewood, our ordinance does require that single-family have recycling through our contracted hauler, Tennis, but the multifamily properties, they have to supply recycling to their tenants. They don't necessarily have to use the city's contracted recycler. And the reason the ordinance was written that way was because of the carts versus dumpsters years ago. We knew that there would be some developments that just would have difficulty utilizing the city's service with just the carts. But now that we will be offering the dumpster option beginning in 2020, we will be modifying our ordinance to require that even all of the multifamilies participate in the city's recycling program only. So with that, we want to kind of prepare ourselves and find out what developments are out there that do not have the city's service. Now, we think, it's minimal. It's probably, right now we have about 98% of the overall multifamily units, but we still want to kind of do an analysis and get a list and start doing some education and outreach with those developments that do not. Special event recycling. So for many years now, Tennis has been supplying recycling carts and dumpsters for our large event, the Lighted Up Maplewood event for 4th of July. So again, working with us closely with the vendors that are out there on letting them know what type of materials can be recycled, and so just doing some more education and outreach in that regard to ensure that we're working towards a zero waste event. We know we're not quite there yet, but making sure that we're capturing all the recyclables that we can. And then the rest of these items fall in line with kind of a transitionary period when a city is beginning a new contract, regardless of who the hauler is. It's always a good idea to take an analysis of where you are right now so that when you start new with this contract, you have all the correct details. So a recycling cart and household audit. When Tennis rolled out the carts, probably in 2014, as I recall, the standard was the 95-gallon cart. However, people could choose 32, 65, or 95. So we'd like to see kind of an audit of percentages of carts that are out there. Because in the 2020 contract, the new contract, the city of Maplewood will be purchasing the recycling carts. So we really need to get a handle on the number of carts that we'll need in all those sizes. Collection routes, and that has to do with, I guess I should read the work plan here. Making sure we have a good handle on the number of routes each day. Addresses where recycling is collected curbside. And this goes along with the multifamily, the development names, addresses, number and size of carts. Location of cart collection, recycling is collected in centralized areas of multifamily properties. So there are some multifamily properties that, they're not collected curbside, they're just in centralized areas. Small business and church recycling, just making sure we have a accurate list of those businesses and church that have opted in and the size and number of carts they have. Walk-up service. So in Maplewood, with both trash and recycling, we offer residents with physical disabilities to have walk-up service for free. So the driver will actually get out of the vehicle, walk up to the garage, roll the cart down, dispose of the materials, and then walk the cart back up. So we want to make sure we have an accurate list of those walk-up service residents. And then finally, recycling cart removal. So that will be a big undertaking. When the city of Maplewood purchases the carts, of course, tennis will have to roll in their carts that are already out there in the field. So that's something we're organizing with tennis currently, and we think that could be taken care of in December after the busy yard season is over. So that'll be a huge piece of their work plan. So I know that sounds like a lot, but I think they're up for the work. Yep. So with that, again, Willie Tennis is here, one of the owners, with his brother Greg, who is not here tonight, and then Angela, and maybe you want to come up and introduce yourselves. But with that, I turn it over to the commission. Thank you.
Great. Thank you, Sean. Do the folks from tennis have some information they'd like to present?
Good evening, Commissioner, Council, or Committee. I'm Willie Tennis. This is Angela. We're here to answer any questions, I guess. I don't know if there's any other information that we really have. Sean kind of wrapped it all up in a nutshell. But if there's any questions you have, we're here to answer them.
I have a few questions, and maybe others do, so I'll start off just to kind of get it going. The first is, and I should have asked this the first time I saw you guys present, which is a few years ago, and I don't know that I've ever asked this question, but how is the tonnage determined for the recycling? Is that based on actual weights, or is it estimated based on the container sizes?
It is based off of the average container size weights of each cart.
Okay.
Because the recycling trucks do not have a weigher on the arm.
Okay, all right. And then another question I have is, I see that residuals are up certainly over the last year, but it kind of looks like we're at the highest it's been for our city. Are you seeing that across other cities that you're serving, or is there something that's kind of funky going on at Maplewood compared to other communities? Is that something we should be concerned about, for instance,
No, the biggest problem there is that we had presented that we could recycle plastic bags, because there was a company a few years ago in Plymouth that was trying to turn it back into crude oil to sell it as diesel fuel. So we hopped on board to supply them with plastic bags. Well, it didn't work out. So now we're trying to retrain everyone to not put plastic bags into recycling.
Okay.
And that's a slow process. So that is the biggest reason why the residuals is up.
Okay, so if we got the plastic bag issue taken care of, the residuals you feel would probably be back down to kind of where they were
Yes,
before?
yes.
Okay,
And we're getting a little more styrofoam than we used to also.
okay,
But plastic bags is the biggest.
okay. I'll open it up to see if others have any questions. I have more, but I don't want to hog it all. Commissioner Miller?
You may have answered this for me before. Are schools included in any of this? Do you guys do any schools, or
No, not.
you don't? They're not
No, we do
included
not.
as small businesses or anything like that? Okay.
I assume that the school district probably has their own contract.
Ours does,
I would imagine.
but I was just wondering if the one that was completely in Maplewood was in on the ordinances and things.
I don't know if we're ready to jump ahead to the work plan or just kind of talking about the report. Are we good with jumping ahead to the work plan?
think so.
Curious, like the recycling dumpster component, the first one on the work plan seems to make a ton of sense to me because I think that that's how most trash is collected at the larger apartment complexes. In other cities that you service, do you have recycling dumpsters at apartment complexes that you have kind of a feeling of how that will go?
Well, there's pluses and minuses to everything. A lot of apartment buildings, the dumpster works better, but in some cases, the carts work better because it depends who the manager is of the complex. Because if you got the carts, you can roll them in different areas, different hallways to make it a lot more accessible for people, easeability, I should say. And so that works out better. So each and every one has their own unique design, so some places the dumpsters work better, some places the carts, the carts work better.
Yeah, because with the dumpster, they would have to bring it all to that one dumpster.
Exactly.
I also wondered too, I guess I don't know how the labeling would be. I would imagine you'd want to be pretty clear with that because most people see a dumpster, throw a big bag of trash in there, that you might have higher rates of that. But maybe with really good labeling, people might. It's a different color.
Yeah, our recycling dumpsters are white, our trash ones are orange,
Okay.
and we have a decal, single sort recycling on the front, two sides. We have a decal in the front that's approximately 10 inches by 15, tells the do's and the don'ts.
Okay.
And then we have a recycling emblem instead of our skunk like we do on our trash.
Yeah.
We put a recycling emblem on the lower left corner. So they definitely are different, so
Okay.
ours are definitely well marked.
And is there maybe a size threshold, like thinking, an apartment complex could be 4 units, or it could be many buildings, many stories, many units? Like, is there a threshold maybe in your experience where it still makes sense to have carts versus a size, once they're bigger than this, a dumpster makes more sense?
Yes, and there again, each complex has its own unique.
Okay.
And like I say, we have all different size front-load dumpsters also. So if it's a smaller complex, say a 12-unit, they could probably get by with a 2-yard container. But if you have, like, say, 100, they may want 6 2-yarders, or they may only have 1 or 2 locations where they would want 6-yarders or 8-yarders there.
Okay.
And so it's going to be a learning curve for everyone to determine where they have room for them and what size they need. And if you have a lot of children, do the carts still work better? Because it's easier for them to lift that little plastic lid than to try to lift the big lid on a dumpster. And so it's going to be a challenge, but
Yeah.
it'll work out.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Commissioner Sin?
Well, I was going to ask you, is there, I asked you last year.
extra
are you looking for water, styrofoam?
Not as of yet, no. There's still nobody has come up with any demand for it. And then, like I say, to ship out our products, we have to have 40,000 pounds. And with styrofoam, you'll never reach that. So it's pretty hard for the trucking. It would cost way more to truck it than the end product would be worth.
And then as regarding plastic bags, so the only way we can get rid of plastic bags is to take them back to the retailers.
Correct.
Oh,
It's not on.
she got
And I know there's more and more cities that are going towards ordinances against plastic bags, so if that gets to be the new trend, that will definitely help in the recycling world.
Okay, thank you, Willie.
Related to the plastic bags, I've read somewhere, I'm recalling in my recent memory, which doesn't mean anything, somebody's taking plastic bags and melting them down into pucks that can be recycled theoretically more effective. Is that something, are you guys aware of what I'm talking about?
No, I
okay.
haven't heard that one.
Okay. If I can come up with it, I'll send it to you, just because it was an
Yeah,
interesting
sure.
article talking about somebody who's working on a more effective way of recycling the plastic bags. And I don't know where the melting occurs, if it's at the point of collection or if it's, I would assume so, because then you get it down to a small, heavier puck size that then can be sent to plastic manufacturers. But I'll see if I can find it, just for the
Yeah.
interest's sake.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Are there any other questions? Commissioner Peltzer?
Sorry, as I was flipping through, I was trying to find something and then thought of another comment, the appendices, I think that it is Appendix F, that lists the educational tags that were put out. I was wondering if you ever take a look to see if there's folks that are on here multiple times, you know, if the educational tags that you're putting out are effective, or if you've got folks at the same spot that continue to put out styrofoam or continue to put the same items out, to see if,
Yeah, there certainly is multiple addresses that do have a frequent issue.
Okay.
And the drivers do certainly know those locations and know to make sure to check for it so it doesn't contaminate the load. And the drivers are awesome with it too. If they are out, they're very kind to talk with those residents and explain why it can't be in there, why they are not able to take it. We do send out the mailer every year with the full information. There's a link to our brochure in 2 languages on City of Maplewood's site. So there is certainly resources that we do direct them to when there is consistent issues.
I hadn't really thought about it before, but how do the drivers know right off that there's something in there that shouldn't be, you know, whether it's trash or styrofoam?
Typically, the cart is wide open and the styrofoam's sticking out of it.
Oh yeah, it's pretty bulky, I suppose, yeah.
Or like the recycling's bagged, where they can see a trash bag in there and that alerts them to take a look to see what's in there.
Okay. The reason I thought to ask that is we have had questions over the years from people that feel like, you know, that's their personal stuff. Why are people looking at it? So I was curious kind of how that is. So it's just a
Yeah,
visual observation
just the normal
kind of thing?
flags, they see the flags, because if it comes back to us, it can contaminate the other recycling.
Yeah, the rest of what's
So
in there. So.
they have a good eye for it and they try and catch it before it gets back to the sorting.
Okay. Cool, thank you.
And adding on to that, we also have cameras in our hoppers,
Oh, okay, okay.
so that the driver doesn't see it on the curb in the cart. When it actually gets dumped out, they can see most of the product that gets dumped out.
Okay. So
Cool. And then based on time, you can kind of estimate what house it's at or something like that?
Well, each time they dump the cart,
Okay.
they can see it.
So like real time.
Oh,
they
so
know,
the
like,
driver
oh,
can,
okay.
I get it.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
driver
Very
sees
cool.
the camera.
Yeah, there's a camera that's in the hopper, and then when you put it in reverse, then it turns on to reverse. So it's a dual purpose camera.
Is the educational tag put on the lid of the container, or is it brought up to like the door of the house?
It depends. Most of the time, first time, there's a little hole in it and it's clipped right onto the handle of the cart.
Okay.
If it does become one of the ones that you need to do it multiple times, we'll stick it like in the screen door.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Okay. Next step might be shame your neighbor, I don't know. I'm just kidding, I don't want to see that. Related to the work plan, this is not on the work plan, but could be sort of a work plan for us. Reading through the report, and we've heard, news stories that recycling market is kind of topsy-turvy, the whole China issue and what have you. Are there things that we, either as individual recyclers, or we as a commission, or we as a city, are there things that we can do to support strengthening the recycling market, or to help build that up in some way? Is there any advice or thoughts you have? And maybe not tonight, because I'm jumping it on you, but if you come across ideas or thoughts that we can do to help, I think it would be great to have.
Yeah,
Don't know.
it's,
Change global economics, right?
yeah, you're asking a big question.
No sweat.
Okay. Well, if something strikes you, feel free to send us an idea.
All right.
Mr.
Meanwhile,
Chair?
we'll come up with our own ideas.
Along that line, I thought maybe Tennis could explain the local markets for us.
Oh,
That's what I was just gonna
that's
ask.
that's a superb idea.
Well, that's one thing, we don't like to advertise, but we're kind of forced to. The whole China deal, well, I guess it is a big thing. The biggest effect it has on us is financial. As far as getting rid of our product, we have no problem because most of our material doesn't even leave the city of St. Paul. There's very few of our products that leave St. Paul.
Wow.
So we have not had any issues on getting rid of our products. It's just unfortunately the value is way down right now. But like I tell people, just recycling's like a roller coaster. It's up and down. Last year was a good year financially. This year it's not. Next year, we don't know what it'll bring. So you just gotta ride the waves, I guess. But we absolutely have no problem of getting rid of our materials.
Commissioner Miller?
Speaking of that, is there a spot on your website or anything that will tell people what businesses are taking recycled things so we can support those businesses as well? And kind of keep that market going for you? You know, like By the Yard for a while was one of the places that recycled materials were turned into something else.
A lot of it is proprietary information,
Okay.
and it's not necessarily that the companies that it goes to, they typically will pre-sort it and get it to end market buyers from there. So
Okay.
they don't necessarily make an end product at the facility,
Okay.
but they'll prepare the product for their company
Another
to
buyer.
make the end market product. So it's kind of a multitude of processes.
Okay, thank you.
So end manufacturer is somebody else other than the folks that you're.
No, it's
in-
typically the same company.
Oh, is it? Okay.
But not the mill that we actually bring the material to.
Okay, okay. Great. Any other questions? I guess related to the work plan, did you guys talk about the work plan? You had mentioned that,
You
know-
saw it before tonight.
Yes, we did.
Okay.
and Sean had said, boy, hopefully this seems like an okay kind of work plan workload. Are we feeling that way?
Yes.
And I'm assuming then, Sean, on item 5, the collection routes, says, Tennis will supply the city with a list of addresses where recycling is collected curbside. Are you referring to by day also, so that we get a sense as to, on collection day 1, there's 500 homes that are visited, on collection day 2, is that what you're thinking?
Correct, and, we get that information, but just making sure, as we're moving towards the transition, that we have the updated
Yeah,
list.
that's solid.
Yeah.
Okay.
And that's something that we have been looking at, I think, for a number of years, is the Friday collection. Those folks have asked a number of times to have that on a different day. So as we're preparing the RFP, wanting to look at some route efficiencies and if maybe it can go to a 4-day collection route, is that something that you guys have, I think you probably have looked over the years, just since this isn't the first time that we have heard of it. Do you think that that's something that's feasible?
It possibly could be feasible, but it would go against the way we've ran our company all the years. Our motto is, our routes are designed to have our trucks off the streets before the kids get out of school in the afternoons.
Okay.
And that, to us, safety of the children is worth way more than a little economics on the other end.
Do you have that as a start time too? I hadn't realized that was a goal with the,
No, in
End
the
time of
morning time,
routes.
we can't.
yeah.
But the kids usually, they're a little sleepy, they're a little slower. They
Well,
don't
it's like
move
a
around as
2-hour
much.
It's like a 2-hour window of bus pickups just within our district.
Yeah.
So I would think that would be nearly impossible for getting anything done.
That's a good point. I usually don't see kids running to the bus, but I do see kids running from the bus every day, so yeah. That's a good point.
So that would be a problem we would have, because if you're trying to squeeze the number of homes into 4 days instead of 5, the trucks are gonna be out there later every day. And that's something that we,
Yeah, that's a good point.
we would have to look at. But, yeah, we would have to look at that.
Okay.
And, that's something that we, 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 don't like to do.
Yeah.
Related both to Commissioner Peltzer's comment as well as my better understanding of item 5, collection routes. Is it, do you guys have mileage associated with each day also? I'm assuming, I mean, mileage means gallons of diesel to you, so I'm thinking that you must have a sense that on collection day 1, we're driving X miles, on collection day 2, we're driving Y miles. Is that something that's available also, where you could share mileage of the routes for each day?
Oh, we probably could. I can't say that we actually have our drivers keep track of the mileage every day. We keep track of the gallons of fuel every day.
Or
for each
gallons of
route.
fuel every day would be, actually, that'd be even better. That Route 1 takes X gallons, Route 2 usually takes Y gallons, something like that. Could we add that to the work plan to get that information also?
Mr. Chair, if you could, I know, but it maybe explain to the hauler why that
Why does that
information is
matter?
important to the city.
That's a superb thing to explain. So we track our greenhouse gas emissions both in terms of city operations as well as community-wide. And our strategy or our goals are to reduce our greenhouse gas emissions wherever we can. And that would be an aspect of it. Clearly a small aspect of our total community-wide impacts, but something for us to just be aware of and explore with you in the future. What can we do to continue to reduce that? So and just having that information is helpful as we think about our recycling in the future.
Okay.
So,
Yeah, that's not a problem. We record it every day, so
okay.
you would just have to, Angela would have to,
Compile another spreadsheet.
yeah.
Yeah, and it could be like an average, just based on, because I'm sure, day to day, it's going to vary a bit, right? Somebody ends up at 2 more stoplights and it goes up a gallon, right, or whatever.
And is like a month time frame a good average for you?
Yeah,
or
that'd be
what time-
superb.
Kind of time frame are you?
Yeah, that'd be
thinking?
amazing.
Okay.
Yeah, that'd be fantastic. Okay.
And it depends like our location too versus leaving our shop in St. Paul Park and coming out to the far north end. Those routes are definitely gonna take more fuel than the ones on the south end that are very close to us.
Exactly, yeah.
So the mileage really wouldn't, obviously gonna be more miles on the northern routes than the southern routes.
Exactly, yeah. And then that'll just help us understand that a little bit better, visualize that. Okay. Any other comments, questions? Is there anybody that, do you need a motion for the work plan or just the conversation that we've had?
No motions necessary, just your discussion and feedback.
Yeah, I think we're getting a thumbs, I'm not seeing any thumbs down on the work plan. So I think we got a thumbs up, yep. I think we're good. Great, well, thank you so much for coming this evening and sharing your report with us.
Our pleasure.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys. Next up on the agenda, Republic Services Trash and Yard Waste Collection, 2018 year-end report and the 2019 collection work plan.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, members of the commission. So we'll move on to the city's trash and yard waste collection program. And again, I have a short presentation for you based on the data and annual report that Republic Service has submitted. Republic Services is the city's trash and yard waste collection contractor. And originally, Republic Services, the city of Maplewood signed on to a 5-year contract with Republic Services. That was when the city of Maplewood first organized its trash hauling with service beginning October 12th of 2012. And that contract ended 2017. The city since then has extended that contract to December 31st of 2019. And now for the first time, both our trash and recycling contracts will end at the same time. And as you know, the city of Maplewood will be releasing an RFP for new contracts beginning 2020. But the contract with Republic Services, along the same lines as our recycling contract, requires the annual report and the work plan once again. So we like to bring those together so you can kind of see a consolidated approach to how we're managing our solid waste in the city. So last year, to improve services, Republic Services took a look at the city's cart management. So the city of Maplewood purchased trash carts for our trash hauling program, and that was back in 2011, rolling out in 2012. And we purchased a large amount, like almost 11,000 carts. And we based it off of a survey of individuals telling us, what size cart they wanted. Well, at that time, we didn't have a very thorough cart management plan in place. We just thought, well, these carts, 11,000 carts, they're warranted for 10 years. We should be good for 10 years. So we didn't really have a very good management plan in place. But over the years, we have found with working with Republic Services that, we really need to take a closer look at our carts and determine yearly, the amount of replacements we need. So it was hard to do that at first, not knowing what was going to be happening with our carts, people moving, people taking the carts with them, crazy things happen to carts. So now we have a better understanding of that due to Republic Services, constant review and management of our carts. So that's something that they helped us with last year and will make improvements on again this year, you'll see in the work plan. Residential organics collection. So Republic Services worked with the University of Minnesota and the city of Maplewood, well, that's us, on this pilot project, which I was not part of, so I don't have too much to report on it, but we should get a summary later this year. But it was students at the University of Minnesota rolling out curbside collection organics to, I think it was about 200 residents here in Maplewood, doing this pilot project to see so that when the city of Maplewood actually collects organics curbside, we'll have a better understanding of, participation rates, who might opt into that program, and so we'll see all that data later this year. The fall cleanup campaign, so that's something that Republic Services started doing with the city of Maplewood that very, second year. They rolled out October 2012, but in 2013, we worked with Republic Services to come up with this program where they offered curbside bulky item collection at a reduced cost. And then at that time, we were able to get rid of our fall cleanup. We used to have a spring cleanup and a fall cleanup. At Aldrich Arena, it was usually held, where people can actually bring the bulky items there and dispose of them, recycle them. But now that we had this organized trash system, we wanted to make this improvement where people have an alternative to just place that bulky item right at the curb and have it collected. Now, they offer that year-round as part of the contract, but in the month of October, we try to focus and concentrate our education and outreach to residents, letting them know about, reuse opportunities, recycling opportunities, and then offering this bulky item reduced price throughout the month of March. So Republic Services has been helping us with that program for many years now. The bridging tour, and this was fun. I saw on YouTube the actual videotape of this tour. Our communications department joined the tour, and they did this public service announcement, for our residents that spotlights bridging and their work at reusing products and distributing those in homes, families of need who are starting over, need their supplies, and they have everything from a little dishcloths to an actual kitchen table. So it's a great program, and if you haven't seen that, I did include the link to that YouTube presentation in your staff report. So now moving on to the data that was collected by Republic Services for our trash and yard waste program, and including just a little snippet of that information, kind of comparing it to 2017. It's always interesting to see the change. So we look at monthly reports from both Tennis and Republic Services. They give us monthly reports, and then they roll those up yearly and summarize that. So here you can see the amount of trash collected, the bulky items, the yard waste collected, single-family accounts, townhome and manufactured home accounts. And that's noteworthy because when we first organized our trash hauling, we did not include the townhomes and manufactured homes because many of them had existing contracts with haulers, so they were basically already organized amongst themselves. But we did allow that option for them to opt into the program. And since it started, this 7 years ago now, we still only have 144 of the townhomes and manufactured homes that have actually opted into the program. I think one of the reasons is when we wrote the solid waste ordinance after organizing our trash hauling, we had written in there that once you're opted in, you can't opt out. So I think that's steering some people away from opting into the city's program. Permanent exemptions. In the city of Maplewood, you can opt out of the city's trash plan if you have an environmentally responsible way of dealing with your trash. And this was something that was important to some residents when we first organized trash hauling. There's some residents that have businesses where they have a licensed hauler and they bring their trash to their place of employment. Or there's other people who share a cart. Maybe your elderly mother lives alone and you collect the trash from her and just put it in your cart. And then there's other people that self-haul, maybe to the an environmentally responsible way of self-hauling to maybe the resource recovery facility down in Newport. So we haven't seen a real increase in that since the beginning of the rollout. It's still only about 264 residents that opt out of the city's trash program. Walk-up service, again, that program where we allow trash and recycling to be collected at usually the side of the garage. The driver will get out and collect the trash, bring it down to the curb, dispose of it, and walk it back up. So that's a real value added to our residents, I think. Yard waste accounts, and that's something that residents can opt in for an additional fee. Then again, on the work plan, did briefly discuss the work plan with Franklin Romack, who is here tonight with Republic Services. But again, would like to take this opportunity to kind of have a work session to talk through the plan itself. So what we're looking at for 2019, the remainder of this year, is to get a summary of the residential organics curbside collection pilot program. Oh, I stand corrected. I'm looking at the staff report now, and it was 126 households that participated in that program. So we really want to get a better understanding of how that went. We do know that infrastructure will be in place probably year 2022 for the city to offer curbside organics in our program. So we will spell that out in our future contract. Sustainable trash cart management plan. Republic Services over the years have been working on this and now have come up with the spreadsheet that will give us an idea of determining the number and size of carts that should be ordered yearly. The fall cleanup campaign will continue that on again this year in the month of October. And then moving forward with kind of the transition of a new contract, again, regardless of who the new hauler is, it's important to have this information, to start fresh, make sure you're on solid ground as you move forward with your new program. So trash billing, currently Republic Services does the billing. City of Maplewood doesn't do any utility billing, so when we rolled out the trash program, we required that the trash hauler do the billing for just the trash hauling. So of course we need updated information on the addresses and cart sizes. Yard waste billing, same scenario there. Walk-up service, the opt-outs, getting a good handle on those 294 residents that are opted out. And then townhomes and manufactured homes that have opted in, we'd like to do a concerted effort moving forward to our new contract to educate homeowners in these townhomes and manufactured homes that they can opt into the city's program. So with that, again, Franklin Romack is here with Republic Services to answer any of your questions, and I I'm available as well, so thank you.
Thanks, Sean. Franklin?
Hello, good evening.
Hello.
I'm Romac Franklin with Republic Services, and thank you so much for having me here tonight. If
My
there's any
apologies.
questions, I can, oh, go ahead, Sean.
My apologies, Romac.
Yeah, no problem.
It's backwards day. Sorry.
Any questions I can answer?
I do have one question to start off with, and that is just, as Sean was going through the numbers for us, a quick little napkin sketch calculation, it looks like our collection per account is up about 17% or so. Is that something that, again, is that kind of unique to Maplewood that you're seeing? Are you seeing that other cities are experiencing a similar increase in trash collection volumes, or?
So we're seeing both. So we are seeing that more cities are having more volume as far as the trash is concerned. But we are also seeing that, I mean, I don't know if you saw the increase in number of households. So we're doing route audits, and we were able to identify additional homes that should be included that probably were not for whatever reason, and we were able to get them added back in as well.
Yeah, so I see we went from 2017, 8861 accounts, and now we're at 8932 accounts. But the tonnage went up from 7536 to 8932, so by account, it's like a 17% increase.
Right, and as the economy gets better and other things, you know, you do see that across the board.
Okay,
So, yes.
okay, so that's maybe something we can work on a little bit.
Yeah.
Awareness on reducing trash generation, I guess. Are there any other questions?
Mr.
Yes, Joe.
Chair. Yeah, just a little bit more about the organics pilot project with the U of M. Do you know if they're planning on doing that again before the major 2022 program starts? And, you know, I think that'd be great to have any of those students in here for a presentation for us too. That's just really fascinating, I think.
Yeah, so it was a great opportunity for us to be involved with that. It's actually a U of M student who's working on her doctorate degree, and she had contacted the city of Maplewood and said that she would like to do a pilot program. We were contacted and asked, hey, can you guys help us with this? And so we decided it would be a great opportunity for us to be involved in something like this. We'd love to do organics here in the city of Maplewood. So we said yes, and we worked with them. I don't see it going on, her doing it another year. Again, it was a senior project for her.
Okay.
So a great opportunity, but I will be working with her and see if I can get additional information from her to get you a report on what they found out. But it was fun to be a part of. Yeah,
Thank you.
thanks.
Sean, this might be a question for you. So one of the items that we were talking about for the work plan for the recycling was the collection routes by day, what those look like, and also fuel consumption by day related to those routes. It doesn't, we're not currently having that in the same, as an item for the trash work plan. Is that correct, or am I missing that?
Mr. Chair, that will come, I think, under the trash billing. We'll get the
Okay.
addresses and cart sizes.
Okay.
We do get number of lifts per day, per route. So you're looking at adding something about fuel and how we can,
Yes,
okay.
if we are collecting, it sounds like you're affirming that we're getting some route information
Yeah.
related to day, then I would then also request that we ask for fuel averages per route as well, just like for similar purposes that we were asking for recycling. Would that be achievable?
I can work to see what we can do. I don't think it'd be a problem.
Okay, thank you.
Mr. Chair, looks like
Yes,
the
Commissioner Court.
carts are changing color. Is that accurate, from black to blue?
So the city carts, you all own the carts. What we'd had initially when the carts were rolled out, they were all Maplewood black carts. There were a number of residents over time who needed additional carts, and there were not inventory. So Republic Services, we put our carts in the field at no cost to the city. We put our carts out there, And over the last year, we've been removing our carts and implementing the city carts, which are black. Republic's carts are blue. So you will start to see more of a black carts everywhere.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Yeah, so.
And hence
Great
the
question.
item number 2, the sustainable cart management, trying to get a better handle on what does that look like so we can plan for it properly. Yeah.
Yeah, so, great question, again. We came to Sean, one of the things that I was growingly frustrated with is this whole cart management plan. It seemed like we were always working from behind. So one of the things that Sean is talking to you a little bit about is a matrix that we've kind of put together. We're still kind of working on, we want to make sure that we can release it and give it the stamp of approval from Republic Services before releasing that. But it gives averages and it gives you a better understanding of when you need to make cart orders. So instead of working from behind, you can say, okay, for the year, I need to order 672 carts based on the previous year's information that we've been able to gather on Maplewood's behalf. So, or it'll break it all the way down to we need X number of 30s or we need X numbers of 90s. It tells you exactly what you need to be ordering. So that way it helps not only the commission, but the council as well to be able to budget and a number of things like that. So.
Okay. As the city looks, and Sean probably already knows all this, but as the city looks to purchase these, are there multiple manufacturers out there that we can select from, or is there kind of like one guy that supplies these things?
Oh, no, there's a number of them, and I'm sure Sean will go out and get quotes from, you're talking about Otto, Rarick, Schaefer. There's a number of them that are out there that Sean is, I'm sure they're knocking at her door.
Do any of them use some of our well-earned recycling materials in their manufacturing that you know of?
Some of them do. Some of
Okay.
them do, and I'm sure Sean is familiar with them. Like I said, it's all a matter of what percentage do they use in the
Okay.
recycling of it. So I know that there are a couple of that actually do, but it's what percentage do they use?
Okay, so we can look into that.
Yeah.
Commissioner Miller?
In regards to the U of M student, do you know if she was going to do some sort of proposal, like, would you guys be interested, or would it be feasible to do it on a large scale, like for an entire city with the organics, or is that something?
So she was doing this more for a project. The county had got behind her and gave her a lot of support. So what I want to do is I want to reach out to her as well as the county and find out if there's anything that we can bring back and be able to use here in Maplewood. I think you guys would benefit from that and probably like to see that information. But again, she was more driven towards, I want to complete this project for school
Sure.
as opposed to for the city, but, I
I
thought you had a
imagine that
question.
that's similar to Katie Pierce and how she was looking at that. So timing of doing the project and then the analysis of the data, writing up the thesis, defending the thesis if she's a PhD student.
Yes.
That might not be completed yet, but maybe soon. So that'd be good to.
Council, I don't think it's completed yet. I think there might be some data that we can glean from what she did, but again, it was her project that she had kind of put on with the county support and help,
Yeah.
as well as Maplewood. So I'll find out what I can.
That'd be awesome. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Commissioner Gould?
So going back to the townhome ordinance related to the trash opt-in, right now it's written so that if they opt in, they can't opt out, correct? Okay. So is there maybe any appetite to tweak that, to maybe incentivize the ones that aren't, the flexibility to opt out, and hopefully they won't. My guess is most of them won't after they opt in, but just to kind of give them that peace of mind when they're discussing it at their townhome association meeting. I'm just wondering what the appetite for looking at that ordinance might be.
And for clarity, then you're thinking the ability to tweak it so that, well, if you opt in, you could opt out at some point in time in the future or after some period of time.
Right.
Sean,
Mr.
is there
Chair, Commissioner Gould, the reason that it was written that way was mainly because of, the city has to purchase the carts and roll them out. So at the time, the thinking was we didn't want them to, once they're in the program, we'd like to keep them, maintain that, so we have consistent education, carts, things of that nature. But now that we have released the RFP just today for trash and recycling, next steps will be, looking at purchasing the carts and also modifying our solid waste ordinance based on the new program. So that's something you will see this year. So we'll address that and see how we can modify that. Maybe they can opt in for a certain number of years before they have to can opt out, you know. So you'll look at that.
Very good, thanks.
Very good point.
Any other items, questions, comments? Then I'll ask you the same question. It sounded like you guys had a little bit of chance to kind of go through the work plan. Is there anything in here that's, this presumably is a doable list for the timeframe?
I think it is. I think it is.
Good. Seems like a good list. All right.
All right, well, thank you.
Thank you very much.
All right.
Okay. So Sean, you have what you need?
Yes, thank you. So we will present this annual report to our city council. We don't have a date set, but sometime maybe the second meeting in June, we'll let you know. Thank you. Thanks for attending today.
Yes, very much. Okay, the next item on our agenda is unfinished business, and we have no unfinished business. We never have unfinished business, do we? We just get stuff done. Next is visitor presentations, and they did that, so thank you. Next item is commissioner presentations, and we just thought maybe like a 30-second update per subcommittee. And frankly, I don't know who is technically responsible for each subcommittee, but I can update on the budget subcommittee, which we did have a meeting. And then it promptly, after the meeting, kind of hit a little bit of mud because I was supposed to put together a survey that we would send out to other communities, and that's yet to happen. I regret to inform the commission here, but we are working on it. But the intent was for us to craft a survey that we would distribute to other communities to try to get a sense as to, sustainability or environmental efforts that those cities might be pursuing that might have expenses associated with them, and such as, and as well as what kind of staff do they have that's related to sustainability efforts or environmental efforts. And also a sense as to, do they have an established budget? Where do they get their cash for sustainability efforts? What are they doing for budget purposes? Just to kind of get a sense as to where are the rest of the metro communities. So I will get that survey together, bounce it off of my subcommittee members, and we'll get that out there. So we'll move forward, but we hit a little snag there.
Mr. Chair, so staff helped coordinate that meeting, so thank you for attending. I have some items on my to-do list as well. But I know that the other committees have not formally met, so perhaps we could hold off on a report until next month.
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Do we have, is there somebody for energy and somebody for accessibility that is going to help kind of take the charge to just organize? Did we have names identified? I'm a little foggy.
We were going to meet before this meeting, but then we had this one scheduled.
Okay. Okay.
So we'll have to get together with our schedules
Okay.
again, because this one was taken up.
Which one are you speaking on behalf of? Okay.
I think I'm on more than one, so.
Do we, Sean, do you have in your amazing memory who is on those two other subcommittees?
The Energy Subcommittee is Molly Miller, and the Accessibility Subcommittee is Molly Miller.
Okay.
So I met with
No, I'm
myself.
just kidding. I do know that Keith Buttleman, Accessibility. See, my memory's amazing. And chime in.
Anyone?
Bueller.
No.
Join one.
Joel Gould is on both.
He's on all three.
So we clearly need a little bit more work. I know it's very hard to do these outside projects, we're all so busy.
Yeah.
But we'll regroup, and I'll remind people who had volunteered, and then I can fill Commissioner Gould in on those subcommittees and what they kind of want to focus on.
Okay. You can place me as an alternate for the Energy Subcommittee. I'm more than happy to participate in that, but I also don't want to take up a slot that somebody else could fill if they wish, so. All right. Phew, so that one's done. Next item, staff presentations.
I wanted to spotlight Waterfest, which is our annual celebration of clean lakes in the area. This is put on and hosted by Ramsey Washington Metro Watershed District yearly. This year, it's going to be held on Saturday, June 1st from 11 a.m. to 4 p.m. It's held at Phelan Lake each year. Apparently, this is their 20th annual celebration. And each year, the Nature Center, as well as the Environmental and Natural Resources Commission, host a booth to spotlight your environmental education. And we did meet with 3 commissioners earlier tonight and talked about a theme for the booth. So we'll be focusing on climate adaptation, since we'll be working on a climate adaptation plan later this year. And I understand that maybe all 3 of those commissioners are able to volunteer at the event. I'm not sure. But we are looking for commissioners to volunteer at the event itself, just for 2 or 3 hours during that day. So I'll send out a reminder and ask if you're available. But we have a new sustainability intern. Her name is Meg, and she will be helping us kind of create the booth. So that'll be very, very beneficial.
She seems fantastic. It's great to have her.
Yeah.
That's good. Awesome. The next item was the Maplewood Nature Center programs, and I think we'll all take a little hand in that.
That would be great. So the Nature Center, of course, they are our partner in environmental education, and we like to spotlight some of the programs they're doing over the next month. And I have convinced the environmental commissioners that it's so fun to announce it that they've taken it over. So take it away.
All right. Native plants for pollinators. Thursday, June 6th, from 7 p.m. to 8:30 p.m. It's $25 per person. The fee includes a starter set of 4 different native plants, 12 plants total. Learn how to start gardening with native plants to provide native bees and butterflies with what they need to thrive. Tour the gardens at the Nature Center to identify what's up and get ideas for your pollinator's garden. Watch a planting demonstration, then take home 12 native pollinator plants to get your garden growing. It's at the Maplewood Nature Center, 2659 East 7th Street, Maplewood, Minnesota 55119. Adults, please register online by Thursday, June 4th at www.maplewoodnaturecenter.com and click on the Register Online Go button or call 651-249-2170. It's activity number 16353. Oh, it's me again. This is a volunteering event, so we all get to volunteer. It's Weed Native Gardens. It's Friday, May 17th from 10 a.m. to 11:30 a.m., as well as Friday, June 14th, same time, 10 a.m. to 11:30 a.m. It's free because we're volunteering for adults. Experienced and new gardeners wanted. Help weed the native wildflower and pollinator gardens. Learn to identify at least 4 native plants, at least 4 native plants and 4 weeds. Receive answers to your native gardening questions. Receive a certificate that shows your service hours. At Maplewood Nature Center, 2659 East 7th Street, 55119. It's free. Pre-register online by Thursday, May 16th for the May 17th event, or Thursday, June 13th for the Friday, June 14th event at www.maplewoodnaturecenter.com and click on the Register Online Go button or call 651-249-2170. It's activity number 16436.
Summer nature walks, translated into Hmong and English for all ages. Friday, June 7th, 9 to 10:30 a.m. Hike with the naturalist to study and record wildlife observations during the current season. Meet a live native animal. Indoor activities if rainy. This entire program will be translated into Hmong. Learn new nature words in multiple languages. All language speakers welcome. At the Maplewood Nature Center, 2659 East 7th Street, Maplewood, 55119. And again, it's free, all ages. Register online by August 6th. That doesn't make any sense.
June 6th.
Well, it says register on August 6th, register online by June 6th. To register, go to www.maplewoodnaturecenter.com and click on the Register Online Go button, or call 651-249-2170 for help registering. Oh, it looks like there's an activity number on the bottom. Hold on. Activity number 16442.
Making twine from basswood, Saturday, June 8th, 10 a.m. to 11:30 a.m., $5 a person. For adults and families with kids age 5 and up, learn how to create twine and rope from the inner bark of the basswood tree. Watch a demonstration of how to collect and harvest the bark, then make enough twine for a small project to take home. Use a pump drill to drill holes in shells for your creation. Some materials provided: bring shells from home or use up to 4 from the Nature Center. At Maplewood Nature Center, 2659 East 7th Street, Maplewood, Minnesota, 55119. Register online by Thursday, June 6th at maplewoodnaturecenter.com and click on the Register Online Go button or call 651-249-2170, activity number 16443.
Survival of the Fittest. This program is for children ages 8 to 12, held on Thursday, June 13th from 1 p.m. to 4 p.m. Do you have what it takes to survive? Learn survival skills about plant identification, shelter building, and building the campfire. S'mores are provided because really, who can survive without s'mores? Wear sturdy, closed-toed shoes. This is a drop-off program. Parents must sign a waiver. This program is held at the Maplewood Nature Center, and just as an information sharing thing, the East 7th Street is currently torn up and under construction, but you can access the Nature Center from the south, from Minnehaha, and I forget which street north that is, but there's some information on the website available about that. So don't panic, because the road looks like you can't get to the Nature Center if you're coming from Century. Let's see, so the fee for this, it must be prepaid. It's $10 a child, and it's due by Monday, June 10th. Register online there at maplewoodnaturecenter.com. Click on the Register Online Go button, or you can call 651-249-2170. This is activity 16444.
Plant pressing for science. For adults and youth, 14 and up. It's free! Tuesday, June 18th from 3:30 to 4:30 p.m. Learn how to collect and preserve botanical specimens for herbarium records and identification purposes. What collection equipment will I need? What plant parts are needed? How do I press to prevent damage and color loss? What other information should I record? How do I submit a specimen to a herbarium? your own plant press if you like to press a sample to take home. Highly recommended for Plant Blitz participants at the Maplewood Nature Center. Register online by Sunday, June 16th at maplewoodnaturecenter.com. Activity number 16455. I'll do it. Junior volunteers for ages 10 to 14. Ages 14 to 16 may apply to be assistant leaders. Fee $25. 5 scholarships available. Please inquire. Dates are Wednesdays, June 19th, 26th, July 10th, 17th, 24th, 31, August 7th. Time 9:30 a.m. to 11:15 a.m. Discover nature, seek new discoveries, and take some action. Make new friends and learn outdoor skills. Cook with a solar oven. Identify poisonous and edible plants. Care for live animals. Use hand tools to clear trails, plant and maintain wildflowers. Projects take place at the Nature Center and nearby nature preserves. Long pants and closed-toed shoes required. Celebrate with a popcorn party on the last day at the Maplewood Nature Center. Pre-register online by June 18th. Fill out a waiver and return it to the Nature Center by Tuesday, June 18th in order to participate. Co-sponsored by the Friends of Maplewood Nature.
Are you wondering what to do without spending a lot of money on Friday, June 22nd, 10 a.m. to noon? The answer is Plant BioBlitz, the family session. This is for adults and children, ages 6+ with an adult, and it's free. Again, Friday, June 22nd, 2018, 10 a.m. to noon. You can become scientist for a day. You can join experts for hands-on learning in the field. You will learn about the importance of species diversity and how you can help protect nature. You'll meet a carnivorous plant and a potato that grows in the water. Use field guides, nets, binoculars, and a plant press to help generate a species list. Warning, surveys will be off-trail. Long pants and sleeves, waterproof footwear, hats, and eye protection are highly recommended. Tick protection would probably be a good idea, too. This is at the Maplewood Nature Center, 2659 East 7th Street. Register online by Thursday, June 20th at www.maplewoodnaturecenter.com and click on the Register Online Go button or call 651-249-2170, activity number 16457.
Just to be clear, it's 2019, and June 22nd in 2019 is on a Saturday, not a Friday.
Whoa, somebody caught an error in the poster.
Oops. Well, thank you, Commission, for announcing those. That's fun, isn't it? Okay. So I forgot to add this to the agenda, but I have this on your Diaz here. Information on the workshop, Planning for Resilient Cities workshop, and I have that on the overhead here. It is an event offered by
The Alliance for Sustainability.
Thank you. The Alliance for Sustainability. So this event will be Thursday, June 20th, for your commission here. So please take a look at that, and if you're interested, RSVP to the Alliance for Sustainability. So that's all I have. Thank you.
Excellent. I think that wraps up our meeting. So with that, we'll adjourn.